back, everybody, and today's tomato review is going to be on the Banana Currant tomato, and it's a newer variety that I'm looking into. I'm looking into some more of these smaller currant and or cherry tomatoes. I'm really trying to get into more of those, as well as dwarf tomatoes, as well as the micro dwarf tomatoes. And so I'm really focusing on those lately because I can get larger yields from these type of tomatoes. By the time blight kicks in, I've already gotten a 5-gallon bucket full of these tomatoes. And you still get tomatoes even after the blight kicks in, but I'm always getting a large quantity of the smaller tomatoes. So that's why I'm focusing a lot more on these smaller tomatoes like cherry tomatoes or currant tomatoes. Now this is supposed to be a currant tomato, but I'm not entirely sure that it is. It looks more like a elongated cherry tomato to me, or maybe a micro plum. I don't think it's a currant tomato. I think it's more of a regular cherry tomato. It's classified as a Solanum lycopersicum, and all the currant tomatoes that I'm familiar with are all classified as Solanum pimpinellifolium variety pimpinellifolium. So they are all pimpinellifoliums when it comes to currant tomatoes, and this is classified as a lycopersicum. So I'm under the impression that it's probably a regular cherry tomato and not a currant tomato. But they named it Banana Currant. Just want to make sure we're clear about that, so you don't think that, you know, you're getting, you know, a currant tomato. I give you the facts the best way I can relate them to you. So let me bring you in closer and show you what the inside looks like, and then we'll show you what the tomato looks like. Let's see here. Hopefully you can pick that up. Focus doesn't really want to come in very good, but hopefully you could see that. It's a gorgeous little currant tomato right there. Nice, very nice on the inside. And here's a better look at what it looks like as the tomato. It's a very nice tomato. I actually like the looks of this. I like the way it grows. And we're going to find out if I like the way it tastes. So we're going to do a bricks test on it, but I just want to show you the tomato first so you can see what you're getting into. So if you want to compare that to like a regular cherry tomato, that would be like a regular cherry tomato right here. So that's your comparison. They're very similar in size. But let's do a bricks and see what the bricks has to say. Now I'm having a lot of problems with birds this year, and the birds are blasting my tomatoes to shreds. So I'm going to be doing a lot of bird hunting this year, unfortunately. Wow, that's pretty high. It's about an 8.5, almost 9 on the bricks. That's pretty high. For cherry tomatoes, you generally want to be between 7 and 10. That's where you want to be with those. Currant tomatoes are somewhere in the same range, maybe slightly lower. With currant tomatoes, they're more acidy than sugary production. Cherry tomatoes are very high sugar producing fruits. So this one's pretty high. It's up there in the 8.5, getting close to 9 range. So let's give that a go. See what it tastes like. Okay, first of all, very sweet, very sweet, but it has an unusual kind of a tangy flavor with it, which is good balance. If I was to give a number on the sweet and the tangy from a scale of 1 to 100, one day I gotta give you a diagram of what I'm talking about with these scales. I'm gonna draw it out on paper what I mean when I'm saying, when I give you my readings. The sweet part of it, I'm gonna say was pretty high. I'm gonna say that was probably close to a 40, and then the tangy part of it was probably maybe like a 35. It wasn't quite that tangy. We'll eat that one in a second, but it's really concentrated around the seeds. So if you remove the seeds and you're making sauce, you're not going to get that tanginess. But I personally like the tanginess that the seeds and the gel around the seeds provide in your sauce, because I like that contrast in tomato sauce. You may not. In salads, you maybe want to take them out. Me, I have to have the seeds in there or it's not a tomato. It's got to have that flavor, or else it's, you know, it's a waste to me. But in between that, it was nice and moist. It wasn't chalky at all, I should say. I didn't get a chalkiness to it. And the flesh was very smooth. Though the skins were a little thick, they snapped very nicely with the chewing part of it when I'm breaking it up with my teeth. It broke up easily and it snapped like. So I was getting a snapping effect on the skin, but I could tell that the skins were kind of a little bit on the thicker side. They weren't exactly super thin, but they were a little on the thicker side, but they chewed up well with the tomato. So even though it had thicker skins, they chewed up nicely. So that's a plus. Let me do this last piece and then... wow, that's an incredibly good flavored tomato, man. Very unusual in taste. It's just got an unusual type of taste. Very impressive, guys. You could eat these things. Once you start with them, you're not going to stop. It's that kind of a tomato. If you've ever eaten a husky cherry tomato, you'll know that the sweetness on those tomatoes are very, very rich. They're known to be a very strong, sweet, rich flavor. They're very hard to only eat one. It's almost impossible. That's how good they are. And that's why everybody is always requesting, I want the seeds for the husky cherry tomato. Everybody buys those a lot, and that's the reason why is they really have an amazingly rich balance and flavor and everything. This is very similar to that, believe it or not. It's got a little more tanginess to it. There might be a little bit of a wild flavor to it, but in general, it's a nice tomato, guys. This thing's very, very nice. You grow a couple of these plants, you'll be eating these tomatoes nonstop. They're really good. They're also a pretty good producer. So it'll produce one bract, and you might see anywhere between 6 and 10 tomatoes on one bract hanging off there, like, you know, like little eggs like that. And they don't take long to ripen. This is one of the... We're doing this review early, just so you guys know. So this is one of the first producing tomatoes of the year that I've had, as opposed to some of my other tomatoes, which are taking forever, and the birds are blasting holes in them because they're taking so long. These produce very quickly, and I was getting tomatoes roughly by maybe mid-July, and I planted late. So these are going to be an early producer for you. But again, this is a really nice tomato, guys. Very, very nice. I'm very happy with this variety. I'm definitely going to offer it on my website. And we will definitely visit this again next year, and we'll see how it does next year. See if we can get, you know, buckets full of them, because this would be a tomato worthwhile, really, really, really growing out. So, not sure what else to say about it. There is some history on it. Well, I mean, there's information on it, but not very much. And whatever information there is, I'm just going to put in the description and or on my website, or both, from the video and the website. And you could just go in to the website and look up the history and go from there if you're really interested in this tomato. All right, so anyway, that's about it. That's your tomato review for the Banana Currant Tomato. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one. Take care.